a lovely day.
Sauce. Hey, get the sauce.
What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Hope you're all having a lovely... One sec. Had to mute my headphones. Hope you're all having a nice afternoon. Hope you all had a nice Monday night. I did. Special thanks to the officials for those pass interference calls down the stretch there to get my over. And for those of you that commented that I got lucky on that over, okay, maybe. But I'll have you know, I may have gotten a bit lucky to get that over, but I'll have you know that I had the Cowboys Commanders under, which was 10-9 in the fourth quarter, and got crushed when they scored 60 points in the last 2 minutes of the game. I also had the Eagles-Rams under on Sunday Night Football, where if Saquon Barkley just gets tackled if they're getting the first down, that hits as well. Instead, he runs 80 yards for a touchdown. So I was due for the last couple games for a total to bounce my way. So I'm not trying to hear it. No.
Don't want to hear it.
I'm not trying to hear it. I'm not trying to hear it. Not one bit. All right, so we got 5 NBA. Not the greatest night. The next 4 days after this, it's going to be insane. Friday's a full college football slate, followed by another full college football slate on Saturday, rivalry weekend. You got Thanksgiving Day NFL. There's a college football game on Thanksgiving night, Tulane, Memphis, although the football on Thanksgiving Day is actually a little weak this year. Miami, Green Bay is interesting, but the other games, the football on Thanksgiving Day isn't great. But it's Thanksgiving weekend, which is usually the best football weekend of the year. So a lot of fun, a lot of good gambling days coming up. As far as tonight, though, just. First up, Chicago on the road at Washington. It's a pretty short number for the Wizards, but I suppose you're not trying to lay a big number with the Bulls on the road. Wizards came through. I bet them against the Celtics a few nights back. I tailed Ski like the Wizards plus 16.5, and I was like, screw it, I'm in. I tailed them. It hit. So I'm looking at the Wizards currently through a favorable lens. I'm feeling up about the Wizards right now. Chris, outright?
Absolutely not. But in the same sense, Kyle, I'm not laying points with the Bulls on the road. They've been the Bulls have been favored so far this season. I think one time it was against the Jazz. They lost the game by 11. I'm not laying points with them either. This total opened 240. It's up to 245.5. Contrarian in me, Kyle, actually wants to go under. I know the Bulls play a super fast pace, but the thing about the Wizards is Jordan Poole just got rolled out. Like that's gonna hurt. That's gonna help the defense and limit the offense. And then on top of that, you got the Wizards who have actually had back-to-back unders. Like we know that this isn't a great offense. They're 29th offensively. The Bulls don't play a lick of defense. We know that they play at a fast pace. But I kind of contrarianly want to go under. Here's the problem why I didn't play under, Kyle. The totals in the cup games, going back to last season, that are above 240 are 6-1 to the over, going over by about 13 points. So wow. I couldn't do that either. So it's a pass for me, man. I think a lot of people will look at the game though, thinking that Chicago is going to be easy, and maybe they are. But I'm not putting my heart on money on anything in this game.
I think it's Wizards here, man. This Wizards team is pretty healthy. Jordan Poole's questionable.
He just got rolled out.
Oh, it's a fit. Oh,
he's out. Yeah, he's out.
Yeah, it was just like 10 minutes ago.
I was gonna say I just refreshed the page. It still doesn't say it on fantasy data. So I guess Jordan Poole has been rolled out. Yeah, put Wizards up for me. Morai?
Yeah, there you go. It's on the graphic. Vooch over 5.5 first quarter points. Right now, the best offered price on that is -103. I would still take it there. I mean, this is just an incredible play for Vooch. First of all, I love the matchup against the Wizards, which I'm going to get into. But whenever I like a matchup, I want to see, like, all right, how do they do in the first quarter? Vooch has scored 6 or more points in 13 of 18 games in the first quarter. And he had, like, an absurd stretch where he did it in 8 straight. Since then, he's only done it in 1 of 3, which just makes me like this as for a bounce-back opportunity. He's been a fast starter. And if you look at the matchup against the Wizards, it's as good as it gets for Vooch. The Wizards allow the most points per game to centers. And if you look at like play types in which they're weak, there's a lot of them, but they're really bad at guarding the pick and roll roll man. That's how Vooch scores the majority of his points. 3rd most points per game allowed to the pick and roll roll man. They also allow the 3rd most points per game via post ups. That's how Vooch scores the play type in which he scores the 2nd most of his points. So It's one of those ones where like I thought about laddering him like his full game point total to like 25 plus, but he's been such a fast starter, even though he only plays like 8 minutes. So there's a little bit of like a minutes concern. He's still done it in 13 of 18 while averaging 8 minutes in the first quarter. So I just thought that this one was too good to pass up, even though like you can't get plus money anymore. I'd still play it.
Well, I trusted a bit more because you have a Qui-Gon Jinn picture behind you, which really gives me a boost of confidence. Vooch, we've gotten a lot of Vucevic overs on this show.
Vooch has been, first of all, Vooch has been awesome this year. That's actually a custom wedding gift. That's me, my wife, and my 2 dogs. That is not Qui-Gon Jinn. That is Matthew Modai himself. It's my
wielding a lightsaber.
My favorite thing that I own. Wedding gift for me. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. So I noticed it. See, I'm observant. I noticed that he had a new. I couldn't see it. It's small on my screen, but I suppose it is Matt wielding a lightsaber.
Correct. A big old lightsaber.
Yeah, that should give you some confidence when tailing these picks. Wielding a lightsaber. All right, Milwaukee on the road in Miami. Short line here, Heat lane 2. Let's check out an injury report. Okay, Miami, full strength here. Terry Rozier is probable. On the Milwaukee side, no Middleton still. Other than that, looks like the Bucks are going to be at full strength. We got a good game here. Both these units coming in at full strength. This should be a cool one. This is dated back to last year, so I may be referring to a dead trend. Don't like laying points at home with Miami. I prefer them catching points on the road. That's more the area I like to take shots on the Heat. But this is a nice short number. I certainly don't trust Milwaukee. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I've been going back and forth all day, Cal, on this one. I really want to get there with the Bucks. The spot lines up better. So listen to the cap, Cal, and you tell me what you think, right? So when you think about the spot, right, you got the Bucks who have one more day's rest, and this is a standalone home game. Their last 4 games have been at the crib. They've won all their games at home, but they haven't been as efficient on the road. The problem is the last time they played on the road, Damian Lillard wasn't there. So like they have gotten a little bit better as of late. Clear coaching advantage goes to Miami. Spoelstra over ham sandwich and Glenn all day. But then we get into like continuing with the spot. Milwaukee, they have the 1 extra day's rest. Miami, first leg of a back-to-back. And they're coming off an overtime game.
Coming off an overtime game, you said Bucks are more rested.
And so the Bucks actually have 3 days more rest after this game too. They don't play up for a while. Then you add in the Cup. The Bucks are 2-0 in Cup play. I think Miami's 1-1. So Bucks probably do want this. Remember, they wanted it last time, and then Dame hit the Tyrese Halliburton hit the Dame time last year in the Cup play, and that was when things kind of got bad. Here's the trends though, Cal. You talked about Miami as a short home favorite, and the Bucks on the road as a short dog. So the Bucks were 1-6 straight up, 2-5 against the number when they were road dogs of 5 points or less since the beginning of last season. 6-1 to the under. And as 3-point dogs or less, they were 0-3 straight up, 0-3 against the number. On the opposite side, when you look at the Heat in the same spot, slightly profitable. They were 10-4 straight up, 8-5-1 against the number, 62% when they were short home favorites of 5 points or less. And if it was a conference game, 7-2 straight up, 6-1 against the spread as home favorites in short home favorites in conference games. So that tells me like Miami probably wants this game, and they probably win the game. I do think it's a coin flip type of game. I don't think I'm a bet it. I think I'm gonna sit on the sideline. I really want to take the Bucks though.
I want to take the Bucks too.
The whole like Damian Lillard like not being like, remember last year he was supposed to get traded to Miami over Milwaukee. Remember? And they were like they were like,
I do remember that.
Yeah, we don't need like we're not gonna like trade the world for you. And so I think that's like a little bit of incentive for Dame to come out and play well in this spot. Bucks are balling, but they haven't proved it to me on the road quite yet. And I honestly, like you said, I want to take the Heat as dogs. I don't want them as favorite either. So I'm on the sideline here, but it'd be Bucks or nothing for me.
Agreed. Modai?
Yeah, so the play that I took got nuked. It was Tyler Herro over. So I got him 20.5 points at -115. That got annihilated. So as of right now, I would just take 25 plus. You can get that at +150 if you use Fliff. If not, you can get it +145 at Bet 365. That's what I did. I took him for a unit over 20.5 and a half unit on 25 plus. So again, at this point in time, just take the 25 plus. It's a system play, like guards that can run pick and roll, guards that can pull up. take their point props against the Bucks. It's been a system play dating back to last year. It's especially one with Doc Rivers, who runs the same defensive drop coverage time and time again with just no adjustments. Trust me, I know exactly how little Doc Rivers is capable of adjusting. The Bucks allow the third most pull-up three-point attempts in the NBA, the fourth most above the break three-point attempts in the NBA. Obviously, those two numbers are correlated, but it just kind of like shows you where they give up the shots. And Tyler Herro, not surprising, scores the most points on the Heat via pull-ups, takes the most above the break three-pointers for the Heat, and he actually is taking the fifth most above the break three-pointers in the entire NBA. Half his shots are from that area of the floor, and again, Bucks are the fourth worst defense guarding those types of shots. The Bucks allow seventh most points per game to pick-and-roll ball handlers. That's the play type in which Tyler Herro scores the majority of his points and also the most points on the Heat. Even with Jimmy Butler back, not necessarily scared off of that. He averages, like in his last 10 games, 22 points per game with Jimmy. So it's not like he's incapable of doing that. And this is just a perfect matchup for Tyler Herro. He's also gone under this number in 3 of his last 4 games. Right before that, he had gone over in 5 straight. And like that last one, he scored 40 points. So it just makes sense. Law of regression kind of happens. Now it's just going to regress the other way. His last game alone, he shot 8 of 25 from the field. If you're telling me he's putting up close to 25 shots, I'll gladly take for him to score 25 points, especially in a matchup where he should be able to get a lot of three-pointers as well. You could do threes. I wouldn't hate if anybody did threes. I just think that's a little bit safer going with the points because he can, like, depending on how deep that drop is for the Bucks, he could just pull up from mid-range. So, yeah, that's where I went with this one, Tyler Herro.
Next game. I'm not betting that, by the way. Seems like a fun game to watch, though. I haven't seen S-Dot in a couple weeks. Must be going through something. That'd be a fun one to talk shit to him about. Next up, Milwaukee. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Next up is Houston, Minnesota. Houston on the road, but Minnesota sucks. Are we getting full strength teams here? Houston, Steven Adams is out. Jalen Green question. Okay, Jalen Green. Chris, do you just ride the hot hand here? Houston's been playing better basketball than Minnesota.
They have, Cal. I really want to do it, man. I really do. I do think that if I was playing the game, Minnesota coming off back-to-back losses against they went to Toronto and lost. They covered against Boston the other day, but still ended up losing that game as well. And they got Mike Conley. I don't think they've won a game without Mike Conley this season. I think all their losses have come with them being Mike Conley lists, I guess. And they're only 2-5 against the number as a favorite so far. I think at home so far this season. So I guess if I had to play it, I'd be taking the points with Houston, but I don't like it as much not knowing if Jalen Green's going to play.
Wait, Chris, question. Do you have it in front of you? What kind of pace are we seeing out of Minnesota this year?
Yeah, they're like middle of the pack. Well, no. I'm sorry. Slower. They're like bottom 7.
So Houston, a defensive team that I trust. Minnesota, not playing the best basketball, but with Gobert out there, they can protect the basket. What about an under?
That's where I was going. I was just about to tell you that's the play here. It's 221 on Caesars. Everywhere else got it at 220 and a half. I see 219 and a half. But that's actually my favorite play of the day. You mentioned it, Cal. Rockets, third defensive rated team. They're only giving up 105 points per game. They lost the other day to Portland and still held Portland under their team total. It was like 106 and a half. We cashed that. I think Portland only scored like 105. They just couldn't score. Or 100 or something like that. They just couldn't score. Timberwolves only 14th defensively over the full season. They're only giving up 110 points per game. The Rockets offense historically like just struggles a little bit more on the road than it does at home. So I think that we just see the other thing, Cal, I think Houston's offense isn't going to be great in this spot on the road. I think Minnesota's probably locked in defensively. But the other thing, Cal, is when you look at how Minnesota's shooting, how they scoring the basketball, they're not attacking the rim at all. Like even Julius Randle just kind of standing around, shooting a bunch of three-pointers, Dante DiVincenzo, Naz Reid. Anthony Edwards is actually leading the league in threes made right now over Steph Curry. And they're shooting the fifth most corner threes, 6th most threes above the break. And if you look at Houston's defense, they're doing a pretty good job of taking that shot away. So I think all of those things kind of factor into being under. The Rockets, 11-7 to the under this season. Like I said, holding opponents under 105 points per game. I think this could be like a 108 to like 105 type game. So I'll gladly take the under 221.
Yeah, and you could put the same thing up for me. I think this is the favorite one I've heard so far. Like I said, in 4 more days or 6 more days, I should say, after Thanksgiving weekend, I'll start handicapping NBA every day. Not currently doing it. But I think this is my favorite one I've heard so far is this under. Maybe even Minnesota team total under. Can you get a 112 and a half? Maybe something along those lines. But yeah, I like this. I agree with that. Modi?
Yeah, I didn't actually bet this game. The only one that I would give out is Rudy Gobert points, just because he owns Şengün. If you look at his history against Şengün, he just crushes him. He's gone over like 10 straight times or something crazy like that. I didn't bet it just because I thought that there's better plays on the board. But yeah, that's where I would go.
Cool. Let's move on to the next one. And Pennymaker asked what my record was wearing glasses. I don't know. But yeah, Pennymaker.
Someone's got to track that.
People do. People are like track my record when I'm wearing the team of like the hat of a team that
Smart.
I bet. People track all kinds of shit. But Pennymaker had a good idea when we did the head-to-head prop beaver versus just a bet outside on Sunday morning that we should have a separate poll after it's over so the viewers can decide who won the head-to-head. I thought that was a good idea. That'd be fun. But yeah, anyway, Spurs on the road at Utah. Jazz short home favorites here. Checking into your report. No Jordan Clarkson. I don't care, man. I think with a healthy Walker Kessler, a healthy Markkanen, healthy John Collins, Utah at home should be able to be active on the offensive glass. I don't know. Are the Spurs playing that well? I think the wrong team's favored here.
Spurs are playing really well, Kyle. They just beat the Jazz by 8. Before that, they beat the
San
Oklahoma City
Antonio.
Thunder.
San Antonio.
Yeah, that's true. They've only been away favorites one time this season, and that was against the same Utah Jazz team, and they went there and won that game. That was, of course, without Lauri Markkanen at the beginning of the season. I don't know, Kyle. Like I could easily see the Jazz winning this game outright. I can see San Antonio winning by 5 just because they've been playing some pretty good basketball. They are rested. First leg of a back-to-back. They got the Lakers back at the crib tomorrow. But Utah in the middle of I think this is only game 2 of a 5-game homestand. They got Denver tomorrow. I could kind of see it going both ways, guys. I stayed on the sideline. But Jazz are pretty enticing as a short home dog. I'll tell you that.
I like how in the comments, TWD, I muted him, so he came in as the other guy, and he goes, I'm not TWD. And someone goes, TWD's picks suck. And he goes, no. Like, he responded. He responded.
Just told on himself.
He responded to a message to TWD, like, bro. All right, Modi.
No, they don't suck. No, they don't.
That's hilarious. I don't know that guy, but I know his picks don't suck.
Yeah, that's fucking hilarious. Anyway, Modi.
That's funny. Chris Paul, 10-plus assists. Right now, best offered at plus 110. You can get that at 365 DraftKings and ESPN Bet. The only team that gives up more assists than the Jazz per game to point guards are the Bulls, and the Bulls defense is just an abomination. But the Jazz, second best defense for point guard assist props, they allow the second most assists to point guards. They're also the second best matchup for point guard assist props per props.cash. Chris Paul's played the Jazz 3 times this year. He's averaging over 18 potential assists in those 3 games. He's hit 10 assists in 2 of them. The one game that he didn't, he had 9 assists, but more importantly, he had 20 potential assists. We'll gladly take that. We'll gladly take the average of 18 that he's had in the 3 games. You look into the play types in which the Jazz give up a lot of points. They all lead to assists. It's the second most. It's the fourth most points per possession to the pick and roll man. That's an assist to who's ever the ball handler on the pick and roll, which is Chris Paul more often than not. Eighth most points per game via dribble handoffs, the most points per game off screens, and the most points per possession off screens as well. And the second most made catch and shoot 3-pointers against them. Again, you catch and shoot, that's an assisted play. Whoever's got the ball in their hands the most racks up assists against the Jazz. That's going to be Chris Paul. Again, he's done it in 2 of 3 games. He's averaging over 18 potential assists in those 3 games. I love this one on Chris Paul.
So people trying to ask me to unmute TWD. I unmute him after a week. I have to do this like every couple of months. He
crashes out. He had a full-blown crash out on Sunday.
He was going nuts saying like that I don't really bet the things.
Bets. I'll tell you what. I bet all my bets on Sunday. It was not a fun Sunday. It sucked.
Well, regardless, but like I literally share every slip. So like it's just, what am I supposed to do with that?
I know. I mean,
he
can't
crashes
hold up
out.
the show for psychopaths.
All right, next up is Lakers, Phoenix in Phoenix. Short home favorites here are the Suns. Injury report, Durant, probable. Bradley Beal, probable. Not that would move the needle for me. On the other side, Christian Wood Vanderbilt still out for the Lakers. Other than that, they're good to go. Oh, this is a game right here. So, I mean, I didn't look at any of the NBA, but I like that Jazz bet. I like that Houston under for 4. And I kind of want to place a bet on. There's some good NBA tonight, Chris. These guys split, right? So far, Lakers took the first one.
Lakers, yeah, you're exactly right. Yep. Cup game.
Well, we know LeBron went out for the cup games last year.
Lakers still undefeated in cup.
How long has Durant been back, or is this his first game?
His first game back. Remember we talked about this last week. I told you that when your Knicks were playing in Phoenix, that was the last time that the Phoenix Suns played. So they've had 5 days off. You got a Laker team coming off back-to-back losses to the Orlando Magic.
Suns up.
Suns.
Once you made the sale, stop selling, man. Suns up.
I don't know. I didn't bet the game. I kind of want to go Lakers early, Kyle. I kind of want to go Lakers first half.
It's because you're a Laker fan, man.
No. I never bet the Lakers, Kyle. I never bet.
Yeah, but deep down, you let it leak out sometimes when you talk about the Lakers.
And look, this is what it's based off of, right? 5 days rest. You're going to be rusty. You're getting Bradley Beal back and Kevin Durant, both trying to get. And I'm not saying they're going to be worse, but you got to. And it's not like the Lakers on a 10-game winning streak. They lost on a Franz Wagner 3-pointer. And then they also got beat down by the Denver Nuggets by 23 points the other day. So it's not like they're not going to take this game serious. Remember, the Lakers 9-0 straight up, 8-1 against the spread in cup play. The only one that they didn't cover was against the Jazz last game, and they still won the game by like 7 or 8 as a 10.5-point favorite. So I think they'll take this game pretty serious as well. Don't get it twisted. The Lakers on the road are absolute fate. I think they're 2-5 against the number. So I'm not planning for the full game, but I could see Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal potentially struggling a little bit in the beginning of the game. Lakers defense not good enough. I think they're 25th in defensive efficiency for the full game. So if I want the Lakers, I'm gonna get in and out. I'm gonna get in and out. And
so Lakers,
Anthony Davis.
Lakers first quarter, you're saying?
Wait.
Lakers first quarter or Lakers first half, I think would be the best bet. It's too much variance in my opinion in the first quarter. Like I feel like I lose too many first quarter bets. So
I don't understand them. I know I'm not saying you guys. There's a bunch of you that do these first quarter bets. I'm not saying you guys aren't profitable with them. I'm just saying I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't know. It seems like too much of a crapshoot. If I like an angle, if I'm like, I like the Lakers to win the battle on the boards tonight. Like I want as much of a sample size as possible for that to be true. I don't understand the market. Again, I'm not saying.
It's more situational though. I think about like yesterday. Remember we talked about like Sacramento, OKC. And we were talking about how Oklahoma City hadn't played a game in like 4 or 5 days. Sacramento, second leg of a back-to-back, coming off a loss, 3 straight losses. And you were like, oh, yeah, this is like okay. He was like, Sacramento going to get them tonight. And I was like, well, if you like Sacramento, you might want to go first half because OKC has, like untired legs. Like they have really well-rested legs. And that's what happened. Sacramento, I think, did hang with them for the first half. And over the course of the game, they ended up losing the game by double digits. So it was an OKC spot. But Sacramento did come out with something early. And that's how I kind of see this one. Like Lakers early, but they're not going to – I don't think they're going to beat Phoenix. Can they beat Phoenix? Yeah, but I don't think they're going to beat Phoenix in this spot.
Modi?
Yeah, I went Kevin Durant over 8.5 rebounds plus assists. Right now it's best offered at -110, so this one did move a decent amount. I get it's his first game back, so he's not going to play like 39 minutes, but RotoWire hasn't projected for 33. I've seen him like most of the projections between like 33 and 35. If he plays that, I'm good with it. I normally don't play off of hit rates. That's not a profitable thing to do. So take it with a grain of salt. This one I just think is priced too low. And I think it's priced too low because of the possible minutes restriction for Kevin Durant. He missed this in the first game of the year. Since then, he cashed that in 8 straight. Literally after that, he cashed it in 8 straight. And in that one game that he missed, he had 7 rebounds. He had 0 assists on 6 potential assists. That obviously you're not going to rely on 0 on 6 potential assists. Like normally he should have at least like 3 to 4 just on a normal conversion rate. He's averaging about 10 combined this season. And he's also crushed this against the Lakers specifically. You look at his last 10 matchups against the Lakers, he's gone over in 10 straight. 9 of those was when he was a member of the Suns. So like that 10th one was when he was on the Nets. That's still 9 straight Suns versus Lakers. He's averaged over 12 in that stretch. And you look at like and there's really nothing fluky about those numbers. Like he's averaging 9.4 potential assists per game against the Lakers in this last 10, 11.4 rebound chances per game. Even if you go off like a very, very safe 55% conversion rate on assists and 50% conversion rate on rebound chances, you're still getting over 10 combined rebounds plus assists. And like Kevin Durant loves showing out against LeBron. This is like about as analytical as a play that I normally have, admittedly, but I just think that it's priced too low because of the minutes restriction, and I'll gladly take it for Kevin Durant to get to 9.
All right, let's Go ahead. Oh, that's the last NBA game. You guys want to share your thoughts on Toledo Akron tonight?
No idea about anything in that at all. Real quick out, but while we get that up, still talking NBA. Anthony Davis in this spot. I don't know if you looked at it, Moda. I think Anthony Davis, I like his points prop in this game. It's 27.5, 28.5. I do think that he has a dominant performance. He's gone up and over that number both games against Phoenix. Phoenix, not a great rim protection team. I think if you're the Lakers, you got to get back to playing through. Like, I'm pretty sure JJ Redick is telling them, let's play through Anthony Davis tonight. He should put Nurkic in the basket. I like him up and over his 28.5 points tonight.
Yeah, I like that. I didn't play. I generally trying to stay off of taking multiple picks in the same game, just because like one blowout, next thing you know, you're 0 for 2. But yeah, I think that's solid.
People are arguing whether it's more profitable to bet sides and totals or props. I don't think there's an answer to that. I think typically because player props are kind of a newer market, that old school gamblers tend not to be as into it. But I definitely have seen people turn into profit betting player props over like consistently over time. Personally, it's not really my thing, but it's not because I don't think there's value in it. It's more because it's harder to make content for player props. And Moda could probably attest to this because I make a video right the night before, and that's going to accumulate views over the next 20 hours. In the player props, sometimes those lines are so long gone. Now, not that doesn't happen with sides and totals as well. Of course, the line moves, but player props, those markets are so volatile that sometimes prop people in the beginning of the week would be like, yo, I like this guy over 29.5 rushing yards, and it's Sunday morning and we're prepping for 42. The NFL. Yeah, it's like 45 now, where it's like it's not even worth discussing anymore. So it's a more volatile market. But I don't think there's a correct answer on which one is more profitable. It's whatever you invest your time in, whatever your systems and models you have in place are seeing the market better. So,
yeah, I agree.
All right.
Appreciate you for having me, Cal. Best of luck tonight, fellas. I will catch you tomorrow, Cal. We got a big NBA slate tomorrow. I think every team plays because there's no games on Thursday.
Oh, shit.
Thursday off.
All right. There's no college football tomorrow either. So there's tomorrow's the first day we haven't had a football game in like 7 weeks. So I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing myself. No, what I'm doing is I'm uploading. I'm uploading the Tulane Memphis Thanksgiving college football game tonight, because then I'll do the NFL video tomorrow. So all right, tomorrow will be a big show. Matt, if they found you compelling, where they can find your stuff?
Yeah, somebody did comment on my YouTube video that he found me compelling, and I was wondering if he came from your channel or not. But if you did find me compelling, you can find me on Twitter at JediModai, and same place on YouTube. So check me out there.
Cool. And Chris, you guys probably already know where to find Chris, but if you don't, he has a YouTube channel, Crispy Cappin, every morning, 7:30 a.m. or so for the freaks that are awake at that hour.
Absolutely. Let's get it. Already got it scheduled for tomorrow. Best of luck tonight, fellas. Appreciate you having me, guys.
Let's talk some action.
Richie Gal says, what to do when I'm in a cold streak? Frustrating. Some tips. I would also take those tips, Richie. So if anybody has them, please share.
I'd say ask your doctor about Levitra. All right.
If you have mild to severe plaque psoriasis.
For those of you that couldn't see Scoop, he just said I do actually in the background.
You see, I got it on my elbow.
Someone should open up because Gab in the Discord, she's a therapist. She has her own little small practice, and I was like, "Yo, you should open up, offer counseling sessions for people in cold streaks, the people in our group know her."
On me today, guy's a fucking prick.
All right,
I would just put it all on red. Really, go to your local roulette table. Mostly even odds. Sometimes you'll get a 00 or a 0, but
mostly even odds. That is just not accurate. It's not even odds.
It's 49. 49.
That's not even odds, dude.
Almost. Oh, I said almost. It's close to even.
That's not even odds. Anyway,
talk about gambling. Clearly, we have knowledge of it.
Trust me, I've lost my share of money on a roulette table. I know what I'm talking about.
It's almost even odds. Kent State, Buffalo, 23.5 now. So this line has been moving towards Buffalo. When I was recording this video last night, I believe it was 21.5. So not that 22 and 23 are the most key of numbers, but has moved a little bit. If you guys watched the video I uploaded last night, didn't spend a ton of time on this game. I don't think there's anything on paper. Andy, can you get me an updated weather report? When I looked, the weather was supposed to be fine here in Buffalo. Can you just confirm that for me?
Windy, 20-mile-per-hour winds.
Wow, that was not the case last night. When I looked, it was like 11, 12 mile an hour.
And it doesn't say much rain, just 9% rain. So, yeah, just 20-mile-per-hour wind.
That sucks. I mean, Buffalo, they can run the ball. They connect on a lot of deep passes, so maybe the wind's a problem. But in reality, this Buffalo offense has been scoring a lot of points. In their last 5 games, they're one of the highest scoring team offenses in the conference. They're averaging like 36 points per game. This kid Agbana out of nowhere has become a dangerous quarterback in this conference. They're lighting the scoreboard up every single game. They're at home against not only the worst defense in the MAC, probably the worst defense in the country. I think most of us would agree we'd even take Kennesaw State's defense over Kent State. This Kent State defense is horrible. So yeah, Buffalo, unless this wind is bad. And look, I lost the bet counting on the win last week. So part of me wants to be like, screw the wind. I don't care. I didn't bet this game, but it would only be Buffalo team total over, because the Kent State offense can score. Just give me like put over 49 and a half. It was 48.5 last night. Put over 49.5 up there for me, but I'm not betting this crap.
Red and black is 48.6%, not 49. So I apologize.
Almost even odds. Almost.
Close. It's only not a big variance. Yeah, I actually have a bet on this. So Buffalo has an outside chance of going to the MAC championship that they need Bowling Green and Ohio both to lose, which isn't going to happen. But it's been a good year for the Bulls, at least offensively. It is one of the best in football. So, I mean, you may think, come on, you know how this is going to go. Buffalo's going to score 41 plus. You know, their team total is like 37.5 right now. But I'm going the other way on this. I'm going to take well, first of all, there's no way I'm taking Kent State with the points, but yeah, I bet this today at even money. Kent State over 13.5 team total. Yeah, I'm probably crazy. Like I said a few weeks ago, I think Kennesaw State would beat Kent State on a neutral field, but Wulatowski has not been the worst quarterback, especially against very subpar defenses. Against Akron last week, he had 29 yards and 2 touchdowns, but before that, the top 2 teams in the MAC they played, especially defensively, Miami, Ohio, and Bowling Green, they put up 6, so whatever. But those are the upper echelon teams defensively in the MAC. But against teams with the same kind of defense Buffalo has, Eastern Michigan, they hung 33, Ball State 35, Western Michigan 21, Akron the other day 17. Buffalo hasn't allowed under 15 points in the MAC all year, and that was only the 15 to Toledo 2 months ago. Akron scored 30, even against a bad offense like Eastern Michigan scored 20 against Buffalo. So they have the 11th worst passing defense in the MAC, and you know this Kent State's going to be down early. They're going to be throwing the ball. I love this bet, unfortunately. I never thought I'd put money on Kent State. First time I have since week 1 against Pitt, but here we are. I am a full Kent State supporter today, so I think they're going to score 17 to 21 points here against Buffalo.
Flash him.
I mean, I don't hate the bet, and he's not wrong. Kent State has been showing signs of life offensively. Defensively, they're a joke, but offensively, Kent State is showing us something. Can you put on a screen in a text? Eric Sharpley likes Kent State money line, and he didn't just say it here. He's been flaunting it in the Discord all day. He likes Kent State money line, and for those of you that want to take a home run swing with Eric Sharpley, it is
odds?
plus 1,200.
Decent odds. Almost, that sounds like a 50-50 bet in my opinion.
Yeah, it's almost even odds.
It's almost even odds.
All right. So, Andy, what do you think of Eric Sharpley's bet?
No shot. I will say this game's clearly got less value than maybe anything tonight. Definitely won't bet it, but I would be all over Buffalo in this case. They're scoring a lot. Kent State can't really score. I know that the Buffalo defense isn't very good, but again, you're talking about a Kent State team who can't score points. You're talking about a bad offense. Bad offenses usually don't score even on bad defenses, so I don't expect them to be able to score. And Buffalo can pretty much pick their score at this point. They've been on everybody. They've been successful offensively. So, yeah, I'd be on them. They're hot right now, but this is definitely the game that I'd be the most worried about because the wind plays into it, but also the fact that it's a MAC game. It's the last game for these guys in the regular season. Kent State has nothing to play for. Buffalo's already in a bowl game, I believe. So
hold on. This question. Is Buffalo still mathematically alive? I know it's
Do you not listen to anything that I say?
usually no.
Me out?
Usually-
Yeah, Bowling Green and Ohio both need to lose for them to get into the championship. That's not happening. They both play shit teams.
Wait,
I know.
wait, I was going to say Bowling Green plays the best team in the conference.
Oh yeah, I mean Ohio isn't going to lose. So.
Who's
Who's Ohio?
I think it's who is it? I forgot. I looked it up earlier. It's not happening.
They play Ball State, bro.
Office too.
Very well lose to Ball State.
No, they're not.
Ball State looked pretty bad since firing the head coach, though. That was a poor showing. I bet them on Saturday, and I thought firing the head coach, they could come out with Samanza. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So,
But, yeah.
all right. So Andy does not like Sharpley's pick of Kent State money line.
No. Oh dear God, no.
Next up, the argument between what's more profitable, sides and totals or props, is getting like heated in the comments. How about this, guys? Just bet what you want to bet. It's okay if someone else doesn't want to bet that. Next up is Toledo at Akron. What's this line now? 8.5. Yeah, 8.5. Oh, actually, a couple nines. All right, CLV. I did bet this game, but full disclosure, not really. I'm betting it because if I don't bet this game, then I won't have action on a football game till Thursday. And I know that's not any logical reason to place a bet, but I took Toledo. I got it at -8. I think there was a point in time where you could have got it at 7.5 as well. So I got it at -8. I do think the bet makes sense. Actually, Andy, can you get me an updated weather report here from Akron, Ohio?
I was just looking at no rain, 10-mile-per-hour winds.
Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, so that one hasn't changed. When I looked, it was 9-mile-an-hour winds, no rain. Wasn't even overly cold either. It was like 28 degrees at night, which
it looks like at game time. That's not bad at all.
What'd you say?
34 at game time.
34 degrees, a late November night in Akron. We're going to the beach. Like, that's beautiful weather. So the reason the weather is such a factor here is Toledo's an offense that wants to throw the ball with Tucker Gleason, and that would be the only thing that kept me off a Toledo bet here would be some nasty weather. Toledo's been struggling to run the ball all year. So the fact that the weather, as far as Akron on a late November night, it's beautiful. I like the matchup for Toledo. The only way, the way to stop this Toledo offense is to pressure Tucker Gleason. The offensive line hasn't been that great in terms of pass protection this year. And the game logs are pretty consistent in a sense where if you just looked at Toledo's offensive production, Toledo's passing production this year, the games where they struggled are the games where they saw pass rushes because their offensive line, like I said, isn't very good. So when you're handicapping a Toledo game this year, it comes down to, are they able to pressure Tucker Gleason or not? And when it comes to Akron, the answer is a resounding no. Akron does not have a very dangerous pass rush here at all. So with the weather looking fine, Akron, not a pass rush that scares me. Tucker Gleason should have no problems making plays here. Toledo should score pretty easily. I'm not saying they're going to put up a 50-piece, but Tucker Gleason should be able to make throws, and Toledo should be able to get up and down the field in this game. On the other side, I know that some people are starting to buy into this Akron offense. And I can't say like I disagree. They've been okay with Ben Finley. They're not. Akron sometimes gets thrown in there with Kent State and then some of the lower tier MAC teams. They're not that, though, especially on the offensive side of the ball. This isn't a terrible offense. The problem is their game logs. It's pretty. You can find a pretty distinct pattern. They can score points on bad defenses. If you look at their games against Kent State, Western Michigan's defense, which isn't good, Eastern Michigan, when they play the lesser defenses in the conference, Akron can throw the ball and score. Problem is Toledo is most definitely not a lesser MAC defense. In fact, I probably put them right below Miami of Ohio, maybe Ohio. They're like top 3 or 4 in terms of defense in the MAC. So I don't like the matchup for Akron. In games against top 75 defenses, they're averaging just 14 points per game, and Toledo's number 47 at DFEI. So I maybe Finley's able to make some throws. Maybe Akron can get in the end zone a couple times, but Toledo should score, in my opinion, 30 points in this game, and I don't see Akron getting to 21. So I laid it. I got Toledo -8.
Yeah, I mean, Akron isn't as bad as people think they are. They held their own in that Northern Illinois game and covered. They beat up on Kent State last week, which, whatever, that game doesn't matter. But I said the last game, last time I bet them, they've been in all these MAC games. Their last game of the season at home, I just feel like they're going to come out strong here. I actually have the over on this game. Their offense on the season only gets about 20 points a game, but the last 5 they've been getting around 27. Finley has taken care of the ball lately too. He's improved as a quarterback mostly every game. And not to mention, this offensive line is holding up. In the last 2 of the last 5, they actually haven't allowed a sack, which is way better than they were in the beginning of the season. But like Kyle said, their defense is still giving up points. Northern Illinois doesn't have an amazing offense. They put up 29. Kent State put 17. Buffalo hung 41. They give up 33 points a game in the MAC, which is 10th. And Toledo's offense has been strong. They have the second best passing attack in the MAC. You can't look at that Ohio game really and think more anything about the passing game. If you don't remember last week, that weather was terrible. It was raining and really windy, but it's fine here today. Like you said, it's beautiful. It's beach weather, and they can definitely pass and throw on Akron. They're bottom 3 in both for the MAC against the run and the pass. So what's funny with Akron is they haven't had a 2-game winning streak since 2018. And if they win this game, they'll have 4 wins.
Wait,
which
that can't be accurate.
No, it's accurate. And they'll have 4 wins, which is also the best record they've had since 2018. They haven't had 4 wins in 6 years. So I just feel like they're going to come out strong here. It's senior night. This is the last game of the season for both to score some points. And I mean, obviously their defense is giving up their fair share of points too. So I like the over here. I think both our offenses will come out here and play.
I don't necessarily hate the over. I would rather go Toledo team total over personally, but I don't hate it. The weather's supposed to be all right. What about our truth?
Yeah. I think we said it last night when we were doing the midnight show. If this was under 10, I liked Toledo a lot. Toledo will have a really, really good pass rush, so Finley will be under pressure the whole time. Good run defense. If Akron even wants to try to run the ball, they're not going to be able to. They don't want to really run the ball. They want to throw the ball. I don't think he'll have time to throw the ball, so I really don't see how they're going to get much done on offense. And then on the other side, Tucker Gleason, like you said, the stats don't necessarily show that they've been the strongest, but they can do things when they're facing a team that doesn't have a pass rush. Like you said, Akron doesn't have one. They have no defense whatsoever, really. So there's so many advantages that Toledo has. So the fact that it's a road game is like the only thing to me that points in Akron's favor, and that's not enough for me for them keeping it close. So yeah, I'm on Toledo here. Akron, what did you say? 2 wins? That's how long it's been since they had a 2-game winning streak?
Yes.
In 6 years.
And I fact checked him. He's right.
That's insane. Dear Lord. But no, yeah, they're not hitting that tonight. So yeah, I'd be all over Toledo here as long as it's under 10.
I think that the reason we're getting this line here is people are looking at Toledo's last road game was on the road at Eastern Michigan, and the final score, I think it was 29-28 or 28-27. So I think people are looking at that game and like, hey, Toledo just played Eastern Michigan, who's not very good on the road, and they couldn't put them away. It was a close game. Here's the thing about Eastern Michigan, though. They have a little bit of a pass rush there. And I just got done talking about how that's how you beat Toledo. You pressure Gleason. Eastern Michigan, I'm not saying it's elite pass rush, but it's okay. It's a solid MAC pass rush. Akron does not have that. So, yeah, I expect a comfortable Toledo win here. Before we move on to college basketball, I had 2 people ask me about the league last night, which reminds I explained it in the beginning of the year, and then I just assume everyone knows and not paying attention that new people are joining that don't know what it is. It starts tonight. New league starts tonight. It starts on Tuesdays. So if you want to get in, I included NBA and college basketball. So there's 2 picks tonight. If you want to get in, just submit on the website or in the Discord. It's $150 cash, and one of these go to the winner every single week. So yeah, you got till 7. You got 2 hours and 16 minutes if you want to get in on this week.
I was in the finals yesterday. I blew it.
Yeah, you choked. You doubted Lamar Jackson.
I did.
All right. See you guys later. Toast, come on the screen.
I also had 9 prop bets in this game, but I decided to pass on all of them. Hi, Toast.
What's going on, everybody? How's everybody's morning so far?
The afternoon is great.
It has been the afternoon for a long time.
So what Mountain Dew are you drinking today?
Always blue, buddy. Always my favorite.
The mountains are always blue.
Always. Gotta love it. So let's just get this party started with Andy's favorite team. Well, second favorite team. Number 1 team in his heart, really. The Spartans. We didn't even talk about this game. Or did we talk about this game last night on the show?
No, we did not. We didn't know. Well, we knew it was happening, but we didn't have the graphics.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Scoop, why don't you start us off? We haven't heard from you in a while.
Yeah, I mean, I love Michigan State here. Memphis just played a hard-fought game against UConn where Hurley lost his goddamn mind with that late foul, and he fell, which is pretty entertaining to be honest.
Well,
He actually made his assistant coach hold him back. He like placed him there, but I know Penny Hardaway's team looks good. I said it before the season; it's the best team this has since Penny took over, and it's from the guard play, which just tried to tell me when I picked UConn yesterday, which failed miserably. But listen, it's a hard spot for Memphis. They beat a top team in the nation in overtime. It's not like they have a lot of rest. They're playing the next day. Meanwhile, Izzo and company had an easy game at Colorado team, which is significantly worse this year. And they also just have more depth than Memphis. What's more impressive for Michigan State is they shot, I think it was 2 for 21 from three, and still managed to shoot almost 50% against Colorado. You'd have to think some more baskets will fall here. I mean, they're shooting 20% from three all season. I think one of these games they're going to have to get going before I think this team just can't shoot in general from the three. So also they can definitely get to the line here, which they're actually one of the best free throw shooting teams in the country so far. Memphis, I feel like really only has a 6-man rotation. After Danger comes off the bench, there's a considerable drop off after that. Yeah. Michigan State has the bench players to keep this game close. I mean, their bench scored more than their starters they did last game. I just love Sparty here. I think I would definitely lay the points. I think they win this pretty comfortably, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. I like I said yesterday, I felt like we were going to see Memphis, a really, really good Memphis team, play against UConn yesterday. They were going to win. They were going to look good. And then I think they're going to lose the next day. And I feel very confident that I also played over. I will say I played it at 153, assuming it's going to go up. It's down to like 151 and a half, 151 in some spots. I don't really care. After the first two games that we saw in Maui yesterday, I played both games in over, and they were easy cashes. I don't expect them to be crazy over games like that, but we've seen with those rims that are so very forgiving on the islands, it's just really hard for me not to place my money on the over. As far as Sparty is concerned, Scoop hit the nail on the head on with the 3-point shooting, 2 for 21 like they were, not to mention the fact that I think Memphis got a little bit lucky in their game as well. Sparty has 3 guards that can really pressure these guys, and I don't really know about Danger. They have multiple guys that can get around or can then deal with Danger down low. I think that if Sparty shoots anywhere from 30% from deep today, they're gonna win this game pretty easily. Not to mention the fact that Izzo has like a fantastic record ATS wise over the past couple of years of no days rest in these type of tournament situations, whether it be beginning of the year or as we know, March Izzo. So. Yeah, it's Sparty in the over for me. The over is probably the better play in my opinion. But go ahead, Andy.
I'm going to be on the opposite side. I'm going to play contrarian for once. I think Memphis is going to win this game. I know everyone's natural expectation after you play a long game like that against UConn, obviously one of the best teams in the nation. Your expectation is that team's going to have a letdown the next day. They're tired. We saw it with Baylor. Baylor that went over St. John's, it drained them. They had nothing against Tennessee the other day. I think that the fact that they're playing in this tournament, the fact that on the other sideline, it's another blue blood. It's another great program. I think that's going to be fun. The Memphis will be fine in terms of energy and adrenaline and juice. I think they'll be fine there. In terms of actual matchup, I actually think they're handling their big thing that I would say is bad for Memphis is they're kind of short. They're like 180th in average height. Michigan State's 50th. You would think that's a huge advantage. Memphis has been playing teams that have been taller than them all year. UNLV is a very tall team. Missouri is a pretty tall team. UConn, obviously, is a top 50 in terms of height. They've handled it really well. They've defended inside really well against those teams. And I know that's the only way Michigan State can beat you is by 2-pointers. They're shooting 362nd from 3. They're not a 3-point shooting team. They're a terrible 3-point shooting team. Those need to fall for them to beat Memphis. I don't think that they will. Memphis isn't a good defensive team against the 3, but Michigan State has proven time and time again they can't shoot. And if they can't shoot neutral site like that, if they can't shoot in this game, I don't think that they're going to be able to keep up because I think Memphis will have that energy. I think they will be able to defend inside. So it all comes down to Michigan State hitting shots, and I just don't think they can do it yet.
Fair enough. I do worry about Michigan State shooting, but I still think they're overly talented, especially this Memphis team. But we'll see what happens. I'm very proud of you for going against your boy Tom Izzo. Very proud of you. Next game,
UConn only up 4, by the way. With
I don't spoil it for me because if they go 0-2 in this tournament, I don't know how. It's like ecstasy.
I'm Georgia. I don't know why.
Houston, Alabama. in my opinion, the game of the night. Some might want on the Kansas game. I think this is the game of the night. This line continues to go up. You can get Alabama at like 4.5 now. Right now, I don't really understand it. I took Alabama at 4, thinking that you'd never see a 4 after that, but I was dead wrong. Andy, your opinion on this game?
We said it yesterday. I think Alabama could win the game outright. Houston, smaller team. Alabama has a significant size advantage, and they are using it well in that sense. They weren't. I mean, earlier in the year, the way that Nate Oates wants to play is they want to shoot threes. They want to be able to hit their threes. Their team can shoot threes. They haven't been so far. So the way they've been winning these games have been inside. Against Houston, that's kind of how Auburn beat them, right? Auburn kind of beat them inside. I think Alabama should be able to do that. And I also think Alabama's going to be able to shoot from 3 today. We just saw Alabama's worst three-point shooting. I mean, at least from Mark Sears' perspective, his worst three-point shooting game of their career. They still won the game by like 16 against Illinois as a good Illinois team. Now, they're not Houston. Houston's much better than Illinois. But still, the expectation would be that Alabama's going to shoot better, and they're able to dominate inside. I think Alabama has every advantage in this game. So, yeah, I like it. And the pace advantage as well. They're much faster than Houston. They want to run fast. So, yeah, I like Alabama a lot here. I don't know why it keeps going up.
Yeah, I'll just add really quickly why I like Alabama as well. One thing is that Nate Oates knows how to play this Houston team. There's only been 3 teams that have defeated Houston twice in the past 3 years. Memphis being one, Iowa State being one, and this Alabama team being the other one. Now, obviously, the personnel is different, but I think the style in which they play gives this Houston defense a tough time, not to mention the fact that this isn't the same Houston defense that we've known for the past couple of years. They have some decent players right now, but it's not the same team, especially with Cliff in there for Alabama. I think that really gives them a little bit of more strength down low when you're not going to beat Houston offensively on the boards. They're going to get what they do. That's just what they do. But I think that Alabama can bang around with them enough to the fact that they're just not getting absolutely slaughtered on the board. So as long as, again, I just feel like for Alabama to be out of this game, they would have to be absolutely ice cold from 3. And like Andy alluded to, we've already seen their worst. And I just don't think we're only going to get better from Alabama, I guess, in my opinion. So yeah, I took Alabama +4. It was one of my favorite bets of the day. The line movement doesn't really worry me. And the only reason I say that now is because I really liked San Diego State today. That line moved against me a whole point, and that was like the easiest winner in the world. So whatever. Scoop, what are your thoughts?
I am the contrarian in this game. I think this stretch for Alabama is rough. The Purdue then beating a ranked Illinois team, but whatever. But Illinois, I think, is overrated. But now play a really tough defensive team in Houston. It looks like their offense is way better than last year too. But I am curious to see how they're going to keep up with Bama. The good thing for them is that Alabama's defense is still pretty terrible, so I think they can cover here. Bama's given up 80+ the last 3, and Houston's going to win the rebounding game here. I don't care about Big Cliff Trader, especially offensively. Houston crashes the boards well. The thing here is Alabama hasn't found their shot yet, but unlike the Michigan State game, Houston really just plays tough defense. So Bama's only shooting 30% from 3 right now. I don't see that improving here with a solid defensive 3-point team like Houston. Mark Sears actually hasn't had a good start to the season too, and again, it's going to be hard to bounce back here against Houston. He'll get that going against Rutgers tomorrow. Don't you worry. It doesn't look like Nate Oates has found a starting lineup he likes so far. He's been switching them out every game so far, and they're trying to run the same pace with, I feel like, lesser athletes than last year. So Houston's still top 10 in steals, blocks. They're second in defensive rating still, and Houston's been hitting their shots. I feel like they'll bounce back here from Auburn and from the loss and just beat Alabama. So 4.5 is rough though. I mean, this was 3.5 earlier, I think. I liked it a lot better then.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, I can understand Houston being the favorite. I just don't understand it going up to 4.5. Like, I mean, I still think that Houston has some proving to do, but we'll see what happens. What's up next, Beaver? I know it's blue.
On deck, you've got the Duke game. Duke, Kansas.
Oh, Duke in Kansas. Another game that I think a lot of people are going to be really excited to watch. 2 of the biggest programs in college basketball. Duke number 4, Kansas number 9 in KenPom. I don't care what the AP polls are, to be honest with you. I don't even pay attention. Andy does. Andy's team is so bad that he counts if they get a vote or not. It's like a celebration. So, anywho, Duke, Kansas, Scoop. Why don't you kick us off? since you were contrarian last time. I'm curious to see where you are land on this one. You seem like a Cooper Flag guy.
I know I'm a contrarian here. This should be a great game. I am leaning Duke right now, number one in defensive efficiency. I think they're going to compete with Kansas. To me, Kansas still doesn't look all that great. I know they're number one, but North Carolina and Michigan State were two struggles. North Carolina will not be competing for a championship. Michigan State definitely won't. And against UNC Wilmington, they were sloppy with the ball, only shooting 24% from three. I mean, like Bama, Duke is in the middle of a tough stretch. Kentucky, they beat Arizona. Now they're playing Kansas. I think next week they play Auburn, or in a couple weeks, one of them. But Cooper Flag is going to continue to have a good game here. He leads the team in points, rebounds, stealers, blocks, and assists. So all five. I like Conkanipple back for the shooting threes too. But really, I don't see Flag getting slowed down here. On the perimeter, he's great. KJ Adams is going to try to stop him, but he doesn't defend the perimeter well. I think Malak's going to stop Dickinson on the inside for the most part. Duke is top 20 in effective field goal percentage on the defense, top 20 in 2 and 3-point percentage. And Duke really does have a size advantage to contest shots here on defense. So I'm going to take Duke. I'm going to lay to 3. To be honest, I did not bet it because I just want to watch the game. And I could see Kansas, coming alive. I just these two teams playing is just, I feel like it's going to be back and forth all game. 3 is not a lot. So, I mean, I would still lay the points.
I agree. I agree it's going to be back and forth all game. Andy, your thoughts?
Yeah, said it last night. I like Kansas a lot. I think Duke is going to become a public darling. They already kind of are. We've seen that already in some games. Obviously, they're a fun team to watch, but Kansas is they always find a way, most of the time. But in this game, I said a lot of those young guys have not faced a player like Hunter Dickinson yet. I know people don't like him. I know some people don't think he's very good. Look, he's good at one thing usually, and it's offensively inside the paint. Well, guess what? It's all he's going to do on those young guys. They're all young on Duke. They have not experienced that. He's in his 6th year now. He's got plenty of experience. It's a big game for him. Neutral site. It's not going to affect him. So I think he's going to be able to eat in the paint, and I think that's going to keep the game close. I think he's going to be able to rebound. So I think it comes down to just that matchup in general for this game, them covering this game, because it kind of happened in the Michigan State game. He played so well that they kind of were relentless. So, yeah, that's how I see this going. I think Hunter Dickinson against the youth of Duke will help.
Yeah, I like Kansas as well. I don't like Hunter Dickinson. I said it last night as well. But if there's one thing, how you beat him is make him move his feet, which is going to be pick and roll, and that's not the type of Duke offense that they run. They've never been a big pick and roll team, so I think that really helps Kansas. Even if they start running pick and roll, I don't really worry about it because KJ Adams is going to be by far the best defender that Cooper Flag's seen so far. Duke's very talented. They're very big. But again, I think that when you take a look at what Kansas has, they're going to be the best complete team and the most experienced team that Duke's seen. I mean, between Hunter Dickinson and Zeke Mayo and KJ Adams and DeJuan Harris, I mean, those are some experienced guards and experienced guys that just really know what it takes to get it done. So I'm not trying to make a case that Duke's a bad team, but I think that laying over 3 points on a neutral game against Kansas, who has by far the coaching edge, is absolutely crazy to me. So, I made this game Kansas -1. It's not like I think that they're going to blow Duke out or anything like that. But I did play Kansas +3, and I did play Kansas on the money line. So, Beaver, next game up, please. Iowa State. Oh, man. What ifs. What ifs? How did you lose that game to both of you teams? But thank you God, because that North Carolina comeback just turned my life around last night. So shout out to them.
Turned your life around.
Oh yeah, I bet North Carolina live like 3 times, especially when they started making the run. I hit the parlay that I hit from the bet the previous night. I hit the over. It was easy. Hit my mojo. It just gave me my mojo back, Andy. Okay, it felt really good. So, anyway, why don't you give me your thoughts on this one? I guess you got to be kind of surprised on how well Dayton played. I mean, it can't be that easy to lay 9 with Iowa State, right?
I think I said I thought Iowa State was going to win the whole thing. They looked like they were in a pretty good spot to do it. Right, they were going to be playing a gassed North Carolina team. They were they were up big on Auburn. Right, they looked great. That fell off a cliff. This Dayton team, they looked like the opposite of what I expected them to look. I thought they were going to be outclassed in this event. talent level wise, they're the worst team in this event, and I don't think it's close. Maybe Colorado, but Colorado's putting up a fight against the national champ, so maybe they're not.
Only down one.
Yeah, so like
Oh my
maybe
God.
Dayton probably still is the worst team in this thing, and maybe we just saw their best fastball. We love to use that reference. And I that's the way that I'm looking at it, is I don't think that they can replicate that. They might not have the energy of a Memphis, right? Memphis just beat beat UConn in a long gassed game where they're gassed. Dayton has the letdown effect that they lost the game that they did all that for. So I think we're just getting an Iowa State team that's pissed off that they just got outlasted, and we have a Dayton team who thought they had that game won and just blew it. I think emotionally these teams are in different levels. Talent-wise, we know they're in different levels. So I think Iowa State's going to wipe the floor with them. But I also thought North Carolina was going to be. So be hesitant when betting against Dayton here.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not an easy call, Scoop. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on this one because to me, I played the over. I'm playing the over in all these Maui games. I'm not even going to complicate it, so I'll just say that I played over 142.5. But I do have some thoughts on the game. I'm curious to hear what you have to say, Scoop.
Yeah, I completely agree with Andy. Yeah, what a collapse from Dayton yesterday. I actually fell asleep and watched. I actually didn't look at my phone, and I just wanted to watch it. So I watched it this morning and was laughing at it. I know it's a heartbreaking game type, but I love Iowa State. I had them winning it all last year. But Dayton's a solid team. I don't know if this is too many points on a neutral site. Really, both of these teams had rough games. Auburn with the tip in at the end too. I've seen it yesterday. This Dayton team can shoot and they can force turnovers when they're on, but that second half was some bad basketball. Even though they were hot against North Carolina, Iowa State just has a far better defense and is going to contest them all game. Dayton this season isn't anything special. They're not going to be anything special, I think. They're below average from the three. They're shooting 33%. Most importantly, they're shooting 64% from the free throw line, which is a solid 334th in the nation. So they're not taking advantage of getting to the line. Iowa State has a number one scoring defense and number 4 defensive rating in the country. Just to have a difference here, North Carolina's 53rd. So Gilbert, Jones, and Lipsey I think they're going to eat up the Dayton guards on both sides of the ball. I don't see anything that Dayton's going to do offensively to keep it close. So I agree with Andy. I think that Iowa State's going to come back and just win this by double digits.
Yeah, like I said, I played the over. I would lean Iowa State as well. First of all, the prep to turn around in a 12-hour period to prep for this Iowa State team is not good. Not to mention Grant's record at Dayton as far as in this situation, opposite of Izzo. He's really, really bad on these short prep situations. I don't know if we can count on Dayton hitting those shots. I mean, they did a really good job of that all night last night. Even at the end of that game, they were making really good, tough, contested shots. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw it, but I mean, I'm sure you guys did, but I mean, it was a half of an inch, then that guy would have had a 3 and that game probably goes to overtime. So I just don't know if you can trust Dayton's. I mean, I don't really think that Dayton's guards are that bad. What's his name? Smith and Bennett, right? But it's the thing for me is that they don't have a guy. I mean, what gave Auburn the huge advantage was Chad Baker Marza, that 6'7" senior. He went off last night. They don't have any guy like that that's even capable of doing that. So if they get in a rut where Iowa State really clings in on defense and they don't score for 4 or 5 minutes, I think this game could get over really and ugly really quickly. So like I said, I like to play over because I think Iowa State could blow them out, and then Dayton might have some free, easy looks towards the end of the game, especially from 3. But yeah, it's Iowa State as well on the side for me. Next game up, everybody's favorite team on the panel. Right? This is the one team we can all root for together and have no arguments.
Yeah, I'm rooting for them.
Definitely.
Definitely.
That was big of you. Thank you. Scoop, this is your alma mater. You got to kick us off.
Yeah, I'm obviously rooting for Rutgers. I think both of you are on them too. That Kennesaw State game was demoralizing. What's funny is Rutgers went from 24th to not even receiving votes. At least Andy can say that he's receiving votes. So you can see how much that loss hurt. But I guess I'd lean that way as well. I don't think they're really frauds right now. I do know their defense needs to wake up. That's not a Pikel type of team right now. The issue right now is no one else is really contributing to the Bailey and Harper hype, and they need to attack the glass better. Somerville is getting eaten alive on the boards. And right now, though, this is mostly Notre Dame looks worse, which is what I'm banking on. A loss to Elon, a bad game against Buffalo. And now they're facing Rutgers, who I feel is a better team overall, a bigger backcourt. I think a better backcourt. If they clean up their rebounding and more importantly their defense, they should go Rutgers' way. Plus, I just have to think that Rutgers can score on Notre Dame since Notre Dame gave up 77 plus to Elon and Buffalo. So I would definitely take Rutgers here. I would lay the points.
Yeah, I agree. One thing that I saw that I kind of liked too is that even when Shrewsbury was in the Big Ten against Pikel, he was only 1-3 against him, and his best Penn State team was swept by them 2 years in a row. So, not a great start there. Shrews has been pretty good as a dog though, so I'm curious to see about that. But Andy, what are your thoughts on this one? Because we already know I already played Rutgers.
Yeah, unfortunately we can't bet it, but so I'll keep it relative.
I always
But
forget
I would. This is 100% the one that I'm regretful I can't bet. Although on Saturday I really wanted to bet Illinois and that would have won. So in football, so that's I always regret not being able to bet against Rutgers when they're playing football. But in this spot, I would bet for them. I think they're going to wipe the floor with Notre Dame. I said it last night. Rutgers is getting a lot of heat for losing to Kennesaw State. Why isn't Notre Dame getting nearly as much hate for losing to Elon? Look, that was the first time that this Notre Dame team saw height. This is the first team they played that was top 90 in height, and it wasn't top 90. They were the number 4 team in the country in height. That's Elon. Elon only has height. That's all they're good at. They can't really do anything else. They have no NIL. They have not a lot of talent there. They just use their height to beat you, and they whipped up Notre Dame inside. And Rutgers is a tall team now. They haven't used their height very well. They haven't used their most important players aren't their tallest players, but they do have it. Their big man is a taller person. They can rebound. I think that they could take advantage of that like Elon did to Notre Dame and just use their shooters and their scorers on the outside to score. And I don't think Notre Dame will be able to do much. So I think a lot of people are overreacting to what Rutgers did. They went on the road and played a stupid game against Kennesaw State. It was a recruiting tactic that they definitely regret. But now this is an event they've been waiting for. It's a neutral site event, so neither team's going to have a lot of crowd there because it's in Vegas. So there's no really advantages to me for Notre Dame. So maybe coaching. I do think Shrewsbury is a better coach than Pikel. That's the only advantage, but it's not a large enough margin between the two for it to even make a difference. So, yeah, I think Rutgers is going to win this game comfortably. The talent advantage is just there. So.
Yeah, I the talent for me is the biggest one for me. I think there's no question that Rutgers has way more talent than Notre Dame. And the other thing is that Notre Dame was a cash cow for me. I also bet against them when they played Elon, but Notre Dame was a cash cow for me. That's because Notre Dame was able to get to the rim with easy buckets. They're not going to be able to do that against Rutgers. The one thing that I will say that could bother me is that Notre Dame, I was reading up on Notre Dame, and they've been doing a really, really good job of not allowing teams to get out in transition. So guys like Harper and Bailey, that's what they really like to do. So if they're forced into this half-court game, then maybe it gets to be like maybe the offense struggles a little bit, but I still think the size and the talent's going to overweigh everything no matter what. So I really like Rutgers in this one. I played them on the money line. I'd still lay 2 with them as well. They should win this game by a couple possessions in my opinion, excuse me. Next game up, another really good game. I mean, especially if Jabari Broom, I mean, I know he's probably going to play, but that was kind of scary last night, him going down. I think it was just cramps, but still something to keep an eye on. North Carolina, Auburn, Scoop. What are your thoughts on this one? Everybody knows I'm playing the over. It's a Maui game, just for the record.
Yeah, I don't have much on this, even though it's a big game. By the way, Colorado's winning with under 10 minutes left. Yeah, to round out the all favorite show, to which it looks like I picked every favorite of the game I think we talked about. I'm gonna go Auburn still. I'm just a hater on this North Carolina team, I guess. There were a few.
Can I ask why? I'm like genuinely
such a bad team. They're just gonna be a bad
really.
Team. RJ
Davis isn't good.
When they start the ACC play, they're gonna be like top 7-ish. Yeah, I mean, this is 3.5. I think Auburn's just such a better team here. This team already beat Iowa State and Houston. 2 way better defenses than North Carolina. Broom's going to dominate down low. Like I said before, there's no Baycott for UNC anymore. There's no size advantage. The thing with Carolina is they have great guards, but defensively it's just hard to see them slowing down what I think is one of the best, probably the best offensive in the country. Maybe Gonzaga, so just give Toast some love there.
Thank you. I was about to say.
But I don't have much on this. I just see this as a total mismatch, but I think this line should be around 6 or 7 personally. So I love Auburn here. I think they're going to roll.
I don't really disagree in this game particularly, but Andy, I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I hate to root for Auburn, but I also think they're going to win Maui Invitational now, and they're really good. There's no other way to put it. He's built a really good team. They have guards. They have the big man, Janai Broom, Dylan Cardwell, this kid from Georgia. He's become a pretty vital player for them as well in the last couple of years. I think he had a couple of big putbacks yesterday late in that game. But obviously Broom is the guy that people are looking at. But if Broom is hurt, it's not like they don't have a guy that can do that. Cardwell's been very good inside. And UNC, like he said, they don't really have anybody to attack that or to combat that, I should say. They're 284th in height. I mean, that's a significant drop off from Auburn, who's 45th in height. That's very big. We saw Iowa State struggle with that. So obviously UNC, like he said, is going to struggle with that. The only thing for UNC is, do they have that adrenaline from winning that game last night that I said I think Memphis has? I think UNC could have that too, right? Because this line's a little sketchy to me as well. KenPom has this as a 6-point game. People are betting UNC, and I think every advantage kind of points to Auburn. I think Auburn's a better team. We've seen them be a little bit lackadaisical. That game yesterday, they were down, 18 at one point. So we've seen that. Maybe they get to that point again. But we also did just see UNC come back from that type of deficit. So, yeah, I would lean Auburn. I like Auburn here, but
it's a weird line
from that second half.
Yeah, I agree. It's a weird line to me also because I just don't know. I don't know what to think of the Auburn guards. And if Pettiford, who's a freshman, if he's getting stuck in there against this North Carolina team with Cardo and Davis, I mean, obviously Trimble was pretty decent for them. Again, not to mention the fact that I will say Hubert Davis, let me find it. Hubert Davis, 1 in 7 ATS with no prep.
I also think he's a bad coach, so that's probably my North Carolina thing too.
I don't know what to think. He's slowly growing on me, but I don't feel strongly enough to fight you about it. So you can have that one. But yeah, I don't know about Hubert yet. But in this situation, he hasn't been very good. I think this Auburn team is one of the best teams in the country. I just don't get the line, I guess, for me. So I played over. This game's obviously in Maui. I think that Auburn is one of the best half-court teams in the country, and that's what North Carolina is going to want to do, but that's what Auburn is really comfortable in. So, yeah, I just don't understand it, not to mention the fact that Auburn has beat teams already like Houston and Iowa State, who are very, very good defensively as well. So as good as North Carolina is going to be defensively, I don't think that this is going to be a big shock to Auburn's system. So even if they don't have Jabari Broom in the game, they also have guys off the bench like that, what's his name? That Chaney Johnson kid, Chris Moore, 6'6", Miles Kelly, 6'6". I mean, so it's not like they get small, or definitely not the talent of Jabari Broom, but it's the drop off isn't off of a cliff like some other teams are. So
somebody just brought up my Detroit Mercy pick. I know it was bad. I regret it. I should not have put money on Detroit Mercy basketball. They shot 1 of 11 from 3 today. That was embarrassing. That was a team that was relying on threes. I should have known better. Bad pick. I own that. Somebody said that before. I own that. That was awful. Also, somebody said Hubert Davis, national championship head coach. He's not. He didn't win it. They lost that game. So
I was like, wait, when?
They lost. I guess they should have won that game, but they lost that game. Clear thing up
there. Beaver, would you like to do a community parlay or something of that nature?
I think the
underdog.
I think the email you sent me had a corrupted file, so no community parlay today.
For real?
No, not for real. I didn't.
Oh,
I don't see an email from you, so there is no community parlay. So yeah, I don't have anything as far as the community parlay goes. That'll be the end of the show, people. I hope you all have a wonderful day, better than mine has been. And yeah, we'll see you on the midnight stream. Is there a midnight stream, Kyle?
Yes.
Is there college basketball still? Yes.
Oh yeah. This week.
Oh, he must not.
Thanksgiving.
He must not be in the room, honestly. Okay, so yeah, we'll have that going on later. So see you guys then. Stay blessed. Stay.